I'd like to call the Tuesday, January 13, 2015 Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. It's approximately 5:15 p.m. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Williams.
Here.
Board Member Faircloth.
Here.
Board Member Waldman.
Here.
Board Member Burgess.
Here.
Board Member Maldonado.
Here.
Chairman Porter.
Here. Tab 1 is the, any additions, deletions, deferrals? None? Manager? Rick? Steve?
None.
None, okay. Tab 1 is approval of minutes. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Tab 2, Steve?
Yes. Tab 2 is CAR 1366, which is New Visions for South Dade Inc.'s sponsorship request for the 2015 Martin Luther King events. CRA staff recommends that the board direct the city manager to enter into a sponsorship agreement with New Visions for South Dade Inc. to sponsor 2 events to be held during the 32nd annual Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. The events are the 2015 MLK Movie Night on the Park at Blakey Park, Friday, January 16, 2015 from 6 to 9 p.m., and the 2015 MLK Pioneer Induction Ceremony at Feichel Williams Community Center, Monday, January 19th, 2015, from 5 to 9 p.m. The total sponsorship request for fiscal year 2015 is $7,500, and the applicant is here tonight in case the board has any questions.
Any questions or comments from the council? Mr. Williams, I'm sorry, excuse me.
May I make a motion that we table this and go to item number 5 for a moment, Mr. Mayor, and come back?
You want to hold off on 3?
Yeah, I want to hold off. I need to talk with the applicant for a moment, if the board allow me to.
Is there any discussion on letting Mr. Williams discuss something?
So we're basically postponing it to later in the agenda, is what you're
Right.
saying? Okay. Needs a motion and a second.
Is there a second to move it later in the agenda? All in favor? Motion carries. And
To go to item number
5?
5, yes.
Item number 5, Steve?
Item 5B is CAR 1369, Homestead Main Street fiscal year 2015 sponsorship for events. The CRA staff recommends the CRA board approve Homestead Main Street's request to receive $15,000 of CRA funds to sponsor special events held in the downtown area of Homestead. The specific events to be sponsored are detailed on Exhibit A attached to the CAR. These events were funded by the board in the same amount during fiscal year 2013-2014. The specific events involved are the Main Streets Book Fair, NASCAR Weeks, Downtown Festival, Burger Brawl on Chrome, Main Street's annual downtown Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Losner Park, Main Street's Augusto Festival and Movie in the Park, Main Street's Dog Show and Movie, Main Street's Mardi Gras Parade and Festival, and Main Street's 7th Annual Open Car Show. The applicant is present to answer any questions the board has.
Okay, for clarification, that's tab 4, I think, correct?
Tab 3.
Tab 3, so you did tab 3.
Yes, yes.
Any questions or discussion from council on tab 3?
Sorry.
Ms. Faircloth, I'm sorry. No. Ms. Faircloth.
Can I go?
Yes, ma'am. You have the floor.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just have a quick question. The nonprofit committee had met and allocated funds for the nonprofits in the community, with Main Street being one, Kicks, I believe, the Miami Bridge, I can't remember the other one. Have they received those disbursements yet?
I don't believe they have all received their disbursements yet, but they're in various stages of the document process.
Why haven't they received the disbursements yet?
I wouldn't, off the top of my head, I don't have that information, but I can certainly find out.
Because that has happened a long time ago. And some of these nonprofits, they factored this into their budget. And I know a lot of these events that Main Street has held has already happened. I'm not sure how they were able to pay for those funds, pay for those events, but I'm just trying to figure out why is this being pulled to give them the disbursement. I was thinking they had it already.
No, this is actually something separate. Homestead Main Street received a $35,000 not-for-profit grant. This $15,000 is a separate line item in the CRA's budget, specifically geared toward these events.
These events here?
Excuse me?
No, I'm saying specifically geared towards these
Yeah, it's
particular
specifically
events here.
geared toward the events, and this is actually an item in our budget that we've paid for the last 3 years. That is separate. Homestead Main Street, for example, has received their $35,000 disbursement. There may be an applicant or two that has not. I'll definitely check on that and report
But
back.
is that due, the lack of them receiving their disbursement, is that due in something on our part, or it's because of paperwork on their part? What kind of precipitated them not receiving their disbursement?
I honestly, I don't want to provide an answer that I'm not
Okay, just whenever.
certain is
That's fine.
accurate. So I
That's
will
fine.
get the information.
Whenever you
and
can.
report back.
Okay, I just kind of wanted to put all this together. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Williams, Steve read tab 3, so we're basically in the discussion on the Main Street.
Yes.
Is there any other questions from council on tab 3? Any discussions from council on tab 3? Is there a motion on tab 3? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you still want to go to tab 5, Mr. Williams?
No, we can go back up to...
To 2?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Steve, tab 2, please.
Tab 2, would you like me to introduce it again?
Needs to be a motion to remove the item from the table.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so you read tab 2?
I read tab 2 before, but I can do it again.
No, that's all right. Mr. Williams, did you have a question on tab 2 or any discussion on
Yeah,
tab 2?
I think the allocation amount that is listed in your booklet is a amount that was calculated a couple months ago with some unforeseen things to come up, and so is asking for an additional beyond what we've already allocated, an additional 1,500, which will cover all of the events that is associated with the MLK events, the move in the park and more porta potties that needed to be done, and more police coverage that were not kind of factored in because of the event. So hopefully, that's why I wanted to table it, to actually get the right figure. And hopefully you all would be inclined to agree with the additional $1,500 for the event.
Okay, so the figure that's here, the total sponsorship is $7,500.
Right.
And Mr. Williams is suggesting that it needs to be 9,000?
That would be 9,000.
That would be 9,000. Any questions from council? Is there a motion to pass it?
Can I
Mr.
just
Burgess?
clarification, Jimmy, or excuse me, Councilman Williams, on
Tell me what we're doing now. We need more money for more police presence at the functions?
At the functions and more porta potties, from my understanding, from what the applicant has are requesting, and that sent them over their allocated amount of budget than what they anticipated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess.
Did anybody have any questions for the applicant? Is the applicant here?
Yes, he's here.
Did anybody from the council have any questions for the applicant? Okay. If not, is there a motion to move this with the $9,000
Mayor.
figure?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Fairclough?
Kind of hit it late. If we can just invite the applicant up to kind of talk about the event for the record, what's going on, and at the movie in the park, and the Pioneer induction ceremony. I heard it was outstanding last year. Look forward to participating and joining this year. So if you can kind of talk to us about these events.
Thank you, Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick. Thank you to this body. Thank you to everybody in attendance tonight. My name is Willie Brown Jr. I reside at 424 Southwest 11th Avenue, Homestead, Florida, 33030. I was born and raised in Homestead, lived here all my life. Will probably be here forever and a day. My family's presented the MLK events in Homestead for the past, it's actually been 38 years, but the holiday officially started about 34 years ago when Ronald Reagan signed into law the MLK holiday as a federal holiday. That being said, one of the principal aims and goals of Dr. King was to make sure he didn't want to take anything from anybody else. He just wanted to make sure that everybody had the same or had access to the same. And so the neighborhood where I grew up in, which is the neighborhood where this event will take place primarily and principally, I'm just trying to make sure that they get the same things that we see in other events, you know? And so every year I come up a little bit short and I have to come hat in hand and ask for a little bit more because things cost more on a yearly basis. One of the problems I had, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, is trying to get people to come to that event in that community, and they don't want to because they're worried about security concerns. And this is why we're trying to beef up security to make sure that everyone has an enjoyable event and that they feel safe and secure in that area. And that's my request of Councilman Williams, and I can't thank him enough for all that he's done for more money for security and other things. And if there's any other questions, I'll be more than glad to answer those questions. Yes, Councilman.
Yes, just one more question. The movie in the park, will it be at Blakey Park again this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Will you be there?
Yes. As long as the generator's working this year. Had some technical difficulties. I believe that was last year, but I'll be there, yes.
Is there anything else? Is there a motion?
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
This is at the higher number?
At the 9,000.
Okay.
Total expenditure at 9,000. Motion it carries. Tab 4.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to remind you the parade is this Saturday, so if we can expedite things, that would be appreciated. And also, you guys are all invited. Mayor Porter, I did send a letter to your assistant because I need you to be there Monday night for the Pioneer ceremony.
Okay.
But I'll readdress that tomorrow with your assistant.
No problem.
And thank you.
We'll be there.
Mayor, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brown, do we have a calendar of all your events? I don't know that they're on my calendar.
I know I made one available to the CRA.
You'll
We
give it to me?
have, we'll provide you with a calendar of the events. We have attached to the car the dates and times. It's right, it's actually in the car, the dates and
I
times
didn't
of the
see
two
it,
events.
sorry.
It doesn't include the parade, however.
I just want to get them all so that I know.
Want you there, even if you're limping on your...
Oh, I will be.
We'll make sure to get them on your calendar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, tab 4. Steve?
Tab 4 is a resolution. It's CAR 1377. This is a holdover item. This was on your October 14th agenda. It's for Homestead Metal Recycling. It's a grant, commercial enhancement disbursement for $10,000 to Homestead Metal Recycling. The board had asked that the matter be brought back at this meeting so that the applicant could be present to answer questions, and the applicant is here. It's a resolution of the Board of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the allocation of commercial improvement grant funds as recommended by the Southwest Advisory Committee, approving the grant agreement, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date. I believe the applicant is here to speak to you all tonight.
Is there any questions from the board to the staff at this point? Okay, I will open up the public hearing at this time. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and then any questions you can answer for us.
Good evening. My name is O.J. San Roman, 2715 Dunwoody Place, Homestead, Florida, 33035.
Anything from the board? Everybody good? Is there a motion?
Move it.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. I'll close the public hearing. Thank you. I'm sorry, no questions. It's all good. Close the public hearing this time. It's moved and seconded. Final comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Fairclough?
Yes.
Board Member Wallman?
Yes.
Board Member Burgess? Board Member Maldonado?
Yes.
Chairman Porter?
Yes. Tab
The
5.
motion carries.
I'm sorry. Tab 5.
Tab 5 is CAR 1379, CRA Not-for-Profit Committee appointee. Staff recommends that the board nominate and approve Stephen Bythe for Councilwoman Waldman's vacant position on the 2015 Not-for-Profit Grant Committee.
Question or comments from the board? Is there a motion?
What was it?
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reports? Public comments? Any public comments for CRA? Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Give us about 5 minutes and we'll go straight into the special call.